Hi there, and welcome to today's jazz guitar chords video lesson. In this lesson, I'd like to show you how to play a chord progression called How High the Moon, or the chord progression to a standard called How High the Moon, using this specialist kind of comping technique called inner string movements. And this is a comping or chordal technique that was first used by George Van Epps, but it's since then been adopted by more contemporary guitar players such as Howard Oldham. He uses these quite frequently in his comping and chord melodies, and they're a really good kind of chordal technique to learn. So that's why I put this chord study together to demonstrate how you can use this when you're just kind of doing the regular kind of 4/2 bar comping style. You can make it a little bit more interesting by using these, and this kind of chord progression is a really good way of kind of practicing these voicings. So if you'd like to get tab notation to go ahead with this lesson, then please just click on the link below this YouTube video, and you'll see a link to an article on my website which has the tab and notation for today's lesson. So please check that out, and we'll get zoomed in and teach you how to play this chord study. Hope you enjoy it. What you just heard me play there was pretty much the etude that I've written on my website. It wasn't absolutely note for note and perfectly in line with everything that I've played, but I was pretty much sticking to what I've written out most of the time, probably about 85% of the time, and I was just in a few kind of rhythmic variations there, which I will try to describe in this lesson as well. So basically, this lesson is not a lesson on inner string movements themselves. I already have a lesson on that. This is really kind of a lesson on how to use them within an actual kind of piece of music, which in this case is How High the Moon. So basically what I'm doing is I'm implying these over static chords and over 2/5 chord progressions. So on the first 2 bars of this tune, what you would usually get is just 2 bars of a G major 7 chord. So in a 4/2 bar rhythm, that would just sound like, and you would get a 2/5 in F, which is fine, if you're new to jazz and these chord voicings are fairly new to you, like a major 7 with the root on the 6th string and a major 7 with the root on the 5th string. It's fine to kind of use them voicings. However, if you've been playing a while and you're looking to kind of spice things up a bit, then this technique is a really good one to check out. So yeah, you would usually just play 2 bars of G major 7 in this tune at the beginning of the progression. But what I've done here is rather than play 2 bars of G major 7, I've kind of gone for half a bar of G major 7 and half a bar of G major 6. So it's 2 beats on G major 7 and 2 beats on G major 6. And you know, usually you play a G major 7 like that. That's kind of the common fingering for that first finger, third finger, fourth finger and second finger. But what I've done here is I've actually got rid of the fifth because you don't need the fifth, and with that free finger I've actually put that on the root, which is the third fret of the E string, and with my first finger I've put that on the second fret of the D string, which is the E note, the sixth of the chord. Obviously you'd never have two notes on one string because you'd only hear the highest fret. However, you know, it works in this example because you know, you're soon taking your third finger off and releasing it to the sixth of the chord. So, you know, this might be a bit of a stretch if you're kind of not used to these type of voicings. But, you know, remember this was a stretch at one point and so was that. So, you know, you can kind of get used to it if you just stick to it. So, yeah, we've got two beats of G major 7 and then 2 bars of G major 6. So I'll do this for 2 bars. I was kind of messing around with the bass there, doing some more syncopated things, but to keep this kind of very, very straight, I would do kind of with a 1/4 note feel there. So that's kind of what's going on for the first 2 bars. This is by no means kind of a set in stone thing. I'd probably recommend that you learn it how I've written it out just to get used to these voicings. However, you know, if you want to go beyond and change certain things, that's fine. You could do, for example, 1 bar of each chord. That'll work. And by the way, any kind of G is kind of a little chord substitution tip. Any kind of G major will work over. But if a chord sheet just says G major 7 for 2 bars, you can really use any type of G chord, whether it just be a G major triad or something like I don't know, a G major 13th with a 9th, whatever really, as long as it's kind of an altered G major 7, as long as it's not something like, for example, maybe a G major 7th with, you know, a flat 13th. And that's probably not going to go down too well if you've got a static G major 7 chord and you're playing that this chord progression at 100 beats per minute and you're just playing G major 7 flat 13th. So anyway, yeah, that's what's going on for the first 2 bars. Now the next 2 bars, bars 3 and 4, that's basically the same kind of idea. A lead sheet for this tune might say you just play G minor 7 for 1 bar, then C7 for the next bar. However, you know, what I've done here is I've gone from G minor 7 on 2 beats, then I've gone to a C7 with a G on. Now the fingering for this is probably interesting to note as well, because I played a G minor 7 like this. Usually you play it like that or like that, but in this particular example, again, you will know if you're used to inner string movements, this shouldn't be too new to you. But yeah, a G minor 7 with the second finger, third and fourth, which then allows me to put my first finger on the E natural, second fret of the D string there. And that gives me a G minor 7 without a fifth again. So I do that for 2 beats, then lift my third finger up and play this chord, which could either be classed as a C7 with the fifth in the bass G, or you can think of it as a G minor 6. I guess in this situation of How High the Moon, the harmony is functioning as a 2-5-1 here. You've got G minor 7 to C7, which eventually resolves. However, if you were playing a tune which had, you know, minor 7 functioning in a static way, then it might make more sense to think of that as going from a G minor 7 to a G minor 6. Say if you were playing something like, you know, maybe I Remember April, where you've got 4 bars of G major and 4 bars of G minor. And that tune, the G minor is functioning as being a static kind of chord, so it would make more sense to think of that as going from G minor 7 to G major 6. So anyway, basically the entire tune uses this. There's no need for me to go over everything bar by bar, because there is tab there. I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of the fingerings and stuff, so you wouldn't be lost when you're kind of working your way through this. So yeah, if you just follow along with this, it shouldn't be too tricky. Pay special attention to the trickier parts, like for example in bars 7 and 8 we've got an F minor 7 going to a B flat 7. You have 2 bars of that, and then we have kind of a big jump to an E flat major 7. So you might just want to go slow and get these chord movements slowly, because that's kind of a big stretch, to get used to. If you really found that difficult, you could go from F major 7 and you could play F minor 7 up here as well. You could play maybe that F minor 7, and then go to E flat major 7. That'll make that jump maybe a bit easier, but that's completely up to you. I just thought I'd kind of mention that, as that might be something that you struggle with. Before I let you go, I thought I'd just explain some of the right hand techniques that I'm doing that are not notated in the actual etude for this lesson. So if you just take that G major 7 chord again, rather than hitting the bass string and the D and the G string simultaneously all the time, you'll sometimes hear me do things like going, which is just a little rhythmic variation you can do on these chord voicings. It's not really something that I'm kind of consciously doing. I'm not even sure kind of how I came to do it, but it just breaks up the the 4/2 bar rhythm a little bit. All I'm doing there is I'm just hitting the bass string first, and then the inner strings afterwards. So it's basically going 1 and 2. And that's just creating some more rhythmic interest really at different points within the tune. Keeping things different and breaking them up a bit. So you might want to do something like try to do that every time there's a new kind of chord change. And that can kind of make things a bit more interesting. So I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. If you did enjoy it, please click the like button below and subscribe to this channel. That would really help support me. Thank you again for watching it, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.